Hello everyone, I am delighted to be sat opposite Roger Hartmann from the European Financial Planning Association over in Luxembourg. Roger, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing extremely fine. It's my first visit to this city of Split. It's my type of big bath into innovation and everything. I'm very, very happy to be here. A happy camper.
Happy camper. Happy camper. It's a beautiful place. We're unbelievably excited to have Roger because Roger has a wealth of experience when it comes to the markets. And really, that's where I want to start, Roger. I want to ask you a bit about yourself and your sort of journey to today, and then crypto is perfectly going to follow on from that.
Yeah, look, it fits quite well because I made my study a long time ago. I was teaching many years. I never stopped to teach. 44 years of teaching.
Wow.
I entered the financial industry 42 years ago.
Wow.
In another world. At that time, it was very common and popular for graduates to enter into commercial banking. From commercial banking, 10 years later, I went into wealth management.
Wow.
This brought me to so many places. I'm Swiss by birth. I'm Luxembourgish by naturalization. But I worked basically everywhere.
Wow.
I left my country during 25 years. And I worked in Asia, I worked in Australia, in the US, I worked many places in Europe. I'm a big traveler. And I saw so many things, so many change. And the teaching is a bit the fil rouge of my way to move forward and to be sure. I saw so many waves of change, you know. I began to work, there were no fax.
Yes.
I discovered my first PC in New York in 1987. There was a Lotus 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
All these different things suddenly in front of my eyes. The internet, the revolution of internet in 92. The year 2K shock, which didn't appear.
Yep.
And all these things, the Asian crisis, and of course 2008. 2008, if you would me ask me the question, what is for you the major milestone in your 42 years? I would say 2008. It's
2008.
Before and after.
Okay.
And after means we have to be more disciplined, we have to be more structured, more focused. And all these things go on. And we have to follow all what is going in the digital world. That's why I'm here,
of course,
at this conference, because I don't want to miss what is the next revolution.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is what it is, basically. And as this conference is addressing so many issues, I understand some of them. I do not understand some other ones. Because it's not of my generation. I'm not native at all in that one. But we cannot ignore, because this is the future,
of course,
that we are currently building. And the traditional finance and the digital finance, at some stage, they will blend, they will be dual, they will create the new world. And I want to understand this new world. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We've been talking to just people that have come to many of these conferences. Perhaps we're at Cosmoverse, and they said it started off with everybody rocking up in sandals, hoodies, and sort of joggy bottoms. Now people are in suits and ties, and it shows just where this industry has gone. You know, we're coming into a more mature world. And I think one thing I love about you, Roger, is the fact that you mentioned that when you got involved with markets, there was no fax machines. No. You'd have seen technologies evolve markets over time. And today, what it sounds like you're witnessing is a similar evolution.
Absolutely. For me, it's the next revolution, disruption, is now in front of us.
Yes.
And the traditional finance will not disappear.
Yes, of course.
It will be a world which integrates all this. We had a good presentation this morning where European Central Bank was on the panel. The banknote of the euro will not disappear because the digital euro is here. And the same is valid for everything.
Yes.
No, I'm a traditional teacher for, as I said, so many years. Mm-hmm. Now we cannot ignore digital learning.
Of course.
It's part of it. And I have also to adapt and perhaps also to teach online via other channels or in other ways.
Yes.
All is in the process to be disrupted, but in a very positive sense, in order to create something which is more inclusive, probably also cheaper for a lot of different things, and meaning creating a better world.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yes, and we're doing that right now. You know, Roger, you'd come from the days in classrooms and things like this, and now this is a form of education. You know, you talk about how AI is going to revolutionize that. You know, when we talk about cryptocurrencies, you mentioned inclusivity.
Yeah, yes.
How do you think crypto is making the financial markets more inclusive?
I look at it at a way that you are interested, you want to do something. There are no this glass ceiling effect that you can have, and it's all a question of willingness to go there or not to go there. My career, I met so many glass ceiling, and the most obvious one, which is now in the process to explode, is the gender diversity.
Yep.
In my old world, it was impossible for a female to be a senior leader in the financial industry in the 80s and 90s. It was forbidden because of the glass ceiling.
Yes.
This glass ceiling has exploded. We have today totally brilliant female who are CEOs in banks, and now it's moving at the level of the board of directors, where we see more and more female. It's more inclusive, and the same somewhere these glass ceilings, which are a bit everywhere. We have also the glass ceiling of age, you know. We see much younger people going to function with responsibility. And I see the Bitcoin, the crypto, and all these things also as way to, if you want, you can. You know, if you don't want, if you are lazy, it will be the same.
Of course.
For lazy people, life was hard, and life will still be hard. There is no free lunch.
Absolutely.
For the ones who want to make the effort, it will probably easier.
Yeah.
And first of all, possible, and secondly, easier if you do the right efforts.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about work.
Sweat and work. Sweat and work, and that is a life thing to strive towards. And we are removing that glass ceiling. That's one beautiful thing about this technology. It's getting people that weren't interested in markets into them. Yeah. And everybody should be into markets because they're so integral to our lives, right? You know, whether you care about finance or not, whether you care about markets or not, your life is directly impacted by it.
And that's, you opened the door to one of the very interesting conferences. I was at IMD last Friday, where I was invited to address financial literacy.
Yes.
Financial literacy is still weak.
Yep.
Amazingly, people think, oh, it's weak in emerging Europe. It's weak with very old people. No, it's wrong. It's weak in Luxembourg. It's weak with young Luxembourgish guys. It's weak everywhere. We need to make a lot of effort on financial literacy. And the same happens with all these digital words. What makes it a bit complicated, and probably something which could potentially move in all this type of digital community. People are hidden behind words that we do not always understand.
Yes.
Today we merge in a type of wording where people have not the feeling to hide themselves in complicated words.
Yes.
And if we move around, and we will do, I'm sure we will, it will create a better world with better skills and better opportunities. And it's always the same. It's what we need first is peace. That's a fundamental.
Of course.
From peace we go to growth, and growth brings prosperity. If all these things are well aligned, it will work here, it will work in the rest of Europe, and it will work even in Africa.
Yes, absolutely. And how are you seeing crypto influence sort of financial instruments? How are you seeing the blockchain distributed ledger today influence financial markets? You know, we speak about the digital euro.
Yes.
It's a big topic. We're here in Europe. It's going to, I remember listening to Christine Lagarde. I think she was on a radio show. Yeah. And she spoke about leveraging this technology to ultimately bolster European sovereignty.
Yes. Yes.
And that seemed massive to me. You know, crypto almost creates a level playing field, a platform like the internet, in which people can build upon and actually achieve a kind of a more fairer market, if that makes sense. How are you seeing, it could be the digital euro, it could be the tokenization of financial instruments. How are you seeing crypto impact financial markets?
I see it make things much more efficient.
Yes.
The cost efficiency will be huge. The time efficiency will be huge. All type of efficiencies will go on. What I also like that even the very big institutions, they begin to realize that they were wrong to ignore the first wave, which is somewhere for me between 2011-12 and the first crypto winter, which was in 2017 or 18.
Wow.
But now what we see, the big names are showing interest.
Yes.
And the ones who do not show interest will very rapidly be laggards.
Yes.
So all this will help to move on, you know.
Yes.
It's once a big institutional world is also coming on board, it will create fluidity, better market, better conditions. That's where we are going. I'm amazingly positive on that one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think we can learn lessons. You know, we call this the kind of internet of value that's being formed.
Yes. Yeah.
I think many people have learned lessons from the internet. Certainly, corporations, institutions, in the sense that they didn't adopt it soon enough, and some of them went entirely out of business as a result of it.
Yes.
Do you think the adoption of cryptocurrencies is similar? Is it a case of adopt or die, do or die?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, it's interesting because I was somewhere in the US at that time when you look basically the huge strategic mistakes of Kodak.
Yes.
Completely missing what was going on. And when you do, Rochester, Kodak, and everything falls down. And the same, I see the same type of risk because it's such a wave. To fight against the wave will bring you, first of all, nowhere, and will probably bring you in deep danger.
Into rubble. Yeah.
Yes, and even to the fatal risk to disappear.
Yes, yes. And
that's what I see.
And this is it. And there's a kind of saying with financial institutions, it doesn't often pay you to be first, but you need to follow very quickly.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is those first sort of soldiers, as it were, over the front line, and now the institutions are piling in. We're looking at the very evolution of money. You know, you talk about, being in markets before there was fax machines. You've probably witnessed us go from a very paper, physical money world
everything was paper
to majority digital.
And very slow. And another consequence is you needed a lot of people with lower education.
Yes.
And the result of that, I mean, it's a type of stimulus towards better education.
Yes.
Because all this type of taxi driver function, I don't want to be naughty with the taxi drivers, but you see what I mean. There were plenty of them in banking. And now these people, they have no space anymore because they have to retrain, to reshape themselves in order to be fit. And this is I see it as a circle of virtue towards people being better used. Artificial intelligence are for me ideal assistants.
Yes.
But an assistant which is working 24 hours, 7/7, has no strike and everything. And all this will make us much more efficient. I use artificial intelligence for when I prepare myself to write an article, when I do a conference, and even in order to fine-tune and ameliorate my teaching.
Yes.
It's an enormous gain in time and in precision.
I think one of the most interesting charts that I've seen is the jobs market. Economic data as it relates to jobs is very closely associated, if we use the US, with markets. You know, the S&P 500 and job openings, they move very much together. Unemployment has a kind of inverse correlation with the S&P 500, unemployment at a low, S&P 500 at a high. The reason that I bring this up is talking about AI, my favorite chart at the moment is the introduction of ChatGPT. And the stock market going like this and job openings going like this for the first time. So that correlation between the stock markets and economic data such as jobs is kind of no more or becoming less. And I think that signifies to me just how impactful this technology is and how the need for education around it. I mean, it is do or die. You need that education. People need to take, before you could perhaps play ignorant or you didn't need it. Now that is not the case.
You are so right. I exactly love what you are saying. When I began to teach at the so-called continuous professional education, was very much early. I began on the two streams, again, 44 years ago. It was nice to have. And it was, to improve your CV.
Yes.
to make a better career. In order to, yes, you make a choice to learn more in order to be better. This was a type of nice to have in order to be better. Now, in 2025, we are in a must environment.
Yes.
If you do not do, you will be obsolete.
Absolutely.
And obsolete, you can be happy obsolete in Europe because you will have some money coming from the state for 1 year or 2 years, depending on the country you live. But if you are in Africa, if you are in Asia, where this doesn't exist, hey, gosh, it can be dramatic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a must.
Absolutely. It's a must.
And I still see people, I have the age I have, but I'm surprised to see how many people at the critical age between 40 and 50, because it's a critical age.
It is.
Because they will be retired in many years.
Yeah.
And they do not seem to realize that the world is changing so fast. And if they do not make the effort, they will have difficulties to professionally survive until their 65th or 70th birthday, because with what happened with pensions and everything, it's very clearly possible that the age of pension at some stage will be around 70.
Absolutely.
And I'm afraid for these people, that's probably the category of people more at risk, because when they are young, and I see so many young people at this conference,
Yes.
I think they know and they realize.
Yes.
It's all about learning.
Of course.
And my concern is more in the ones somewhere in between.
Yes.
And this is again linked to financial literacy. Again, you do a job, and this job is changing so fast. Luxembourg, we mentioned, yes, part of my history, because I really love, it's my country of adoption. I'm born in Switzerland, it's a country of adoption. The steel industry. When I see these generations of people who just simply had their job disappear because it was crazy and sick to produce so much steel in Europe when you can do it in India, in Korea, in other places in the world, these people were suddenly obsolete. So what does it mean, obsolete? It's very extreme.
Yes.
Because once your money coming from the subsidies is out, and gosh, I still believe that committing suicide is not the best option. You need somewhere to do something. And continuous learning, which now today takes digital steps. You don't need to go to a classroom.
Yes.
You can do it digitally. There are even excellent platforms where you can do it even free of charge. Hey, gosh, do and learn.
Yes, yes.
I'm very, very passionate about that.
I think I love the fact that this conversation has taken that turn, because crypto is increasingly becoming part of financial literacy. It's eating the financial world. It doesn't mean the financial world evaporates. It's still going to be there. They're going to intertwine.
Yeah.
And if you can't understand that change, you may be victim of it. And I think that we also talk about, you mentioned the steel industry.
Yes.
With the agricultural revolution, what you saw was a huge displacement, an economic change that was seismic. And I think we're seeing things similar with the rise of AI, with cryptocurrencies. You need to get ahead of that curve. Certainly if you're of the age demographic you spoke about there.
Yes.
I mean, this is an amazing turn for us to take in regards to this conversation. I want to sort of come to Luxembourg.
Yeah.
So the country that you love.
Yes.
Now, Luxembourg, certainly with MiCA regulations, is becoming, it's always been a financial hub.
1973.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why? 1973, when these guys were smart enough to realize with the new European regulation, with the fund industry, with his famous UCITS investment funds,
Yes.
they moved a 100 meter in 10 seconds to be the first one, followed a bit later by Ireland. But doing such a good work, they created a whole ecosystem that nobody can compete.
Yes. Are we seeing something similar with crypto now? You mentioned that date there. Are we seeing with new EU regulations, crypto companies rush again to Luxembourg to essentially incorporate?
More difficult than in 73, because we have smarter people around.
Of course, more competition.
Yes.
Absolutely.
To be very frank, I remember I had discussion in system. Why did they move so fast? Look, you Swiss, you asked me the question, I'm Swiss, because you were slow to react. And in today's world, speed is of essence. This was already the case in 73, but it's 5, 10, 20 times more the case today, because we have London, which is not sleeping.
Of course.
Paris and Frankfurt, they move nicely forward. We have amazing places like Milan also moving on. Competition is on the table. Luxembourg is not alone. But what they do perfectly, like they do, we do, because I have also a Luxembourgish passport. So I say we. What we do, we speak, which is something which is not the case everywhere, out of one voice. And when the country wants to give a very clear message from the Prime Minister to the Minister of Finance, to the whole community, to the banking association, the insurance association, and all the ecosystem at large, including the famous LOFT, Luxembourg House of Financial Technology, when they align. You know, there is a very big fintech event next week or the week after in Singapore. It's the biggest fintech, it's a huge event there. We have the government, we have CSSF, we have the whole industry, we have the major players. They all go there to present Luxembourg out of one united voice under one roof called LFF, Luxembourg for Finance. And that's something that Switzerland cannot do, that Ireland does partially. And some other places do not do. So that's, it comes perhaps also, I have to say it, to admit, intellectually admit, it's to come from the size. It is so much easier to manage Luxembourg than France or Germany. Or from the size.
Or perhaps the entire European Union. You know, this is a task that we're seeing undergone, that there's pilots around, digital ledger technology undergoing right now, the ESMA, the European Securities Market Authority, they're conducting pilots in distributed ledger technology. And this is all about essentially providing that voice that Luxembourg does so well to all of the individuals, so that you can have this one operation towards unlocking this technology, which is of importance. It's of sovereign importance. You know, you talk about what the US is doing with dollar stablecoins. This is a threat, actually, I believe, to monetary sovereignty.
It's very smart.
Absolutely.
And I think we can criticize the current president in all the ways we want. But frankly said, this is very smart. Extremely smart. And he knows exactly what he's going, how and why he's doing it. Because he's opening a huge strategic window where Europe will have difficulties to follow, and only smart, agile players, pocket players like Luxembourg that you cross in 20 minutes from left to right, these countries have probably the capability to like the good Swiss skiing campus, you know, you can somewhere go through. But it's a tough world.
It is.
But also to see what is going on in some of the African countries.
Of course.
You know, they made so big frog leap, quantum leaps, in all different fields, because they come from far behind. Look what happens in Kenya, what happens in Ghana, what happens in Tanzania, partially in Ivory Coast. Of course, these are the good examples. There's also the bad examples in Africa. But it shows when all things are aligned properly, you can also have your space. And Africa at some stage, and I'm talking here the digitalization world, Africa will be on the map. I can tell you already, you can already nearby touch it.
I think we've touched on a hell of a lot of different things going on. I mean, we've touched on a lot, right? There's a crypto element to all of this. You know, we just spoke about Africa. Africa can leapfrog a lot of the Western world through adopting this technology, because you have a problem in which a lot of the Western world has bureaucracy, it has infrastructure in place, it has regulation that isn't quite adequate. It's becoming far more adequate for the embrace of distributed ledger technology. A lot of Africa as a continent doesn't have that, which means that they can effectively leapfrog this on technologies they've already adopted, like the internet, like mobile phones. They're a very young sort of digital native population. Absolutely.
You know, we are today, still today, we are paying the price of over-branching.
Yes.
And I was part of this over-branching because I was asked, Roger, open branches. We were in the 90s. It's not so long time ago. It's 30 years ago, which is nothing.
In the grand scheme of things.
Yes, sir. And now what is going on? We realize, oh gosh, we went far too far. And Africa never had branches because they had no time.
Yes.
They just had in Abidjan, TAC, and you have it in Lomé, in Dakar, and in Nairobi, and in Kampala, and that's it.
Yes.
And they are much more better positioned to
leapfrog.
Leapfrog. Yeah.
So it's up to us, it's up to people like myself, it's up to people like Roger to make sure that we stay in the game and stay competitive.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But also applaud continents like Africa for what they're doing, the work they're doing, but we need to stay relevant. And part of that is education, it's adopting this technology. And you've seen many technologies and just how they've impacted markets. Roger, the last thing I want to do is say thank you very much for your time.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
I really enjoyed this discussion.
Yes, and we will speak again. Roger, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
I will give you my business card.
Fantastic. And we will leave links in the description for where you can find Roger. I know you're big on LinkedIn.
Very big on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Yes. Feel free to follow me. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.